I bet. It is Mr. Rogers' birthday, and it is Won't You Be My Neighbor Day. And so we talked to Joe Block of the Pirates about the nice guys in baseball that he's met over the years. Joe, I guess there's probably a whole bunch of really good fellas that you've met down through the years, huh?
Yeah, and, you mentioned Mr. Rogers. I wrote him a letter when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah?
And he wrote me back, and I thought that was just the nicest thing in the world. So he's the nicest, and outside of baseball, of course. I still have it.
Oh, that's terrific.
And my kids love Mr. Rogers, too, which is cool that the next generation still hear his messages. Baseball, it's really fun to think about. The accomplishments of the player have nothing to do with just how nice they are. Mm-hmm. Or it could be different broadcasters. And, people have been so kind to me are a lot of times the people I've looked up to the most before I knew them. And then obviously after the fact. Mm-hmm. With working with Bob Uecker, of course, getting to know Ernie Harwell before he passed away, the longtime Tigers announcer, growing up in Detroit. Today's player, this time of year is spring. I go to every locker. I talk to every player. I want to know a little bit about them. Most of them are going to come up at some point during the season, if not right away. And the guy I got to know a little bit, in the last couple of years, I think, on today's current Pirates is Isaac Mattson, who grew up in Harbor Creek and near Erie, and last year had hardly pitched in the major leagues. He was going into his age 30 season, and just a handful of big league games. He had pitched in independent baseball and just tried to stay around in baseball. And he became a big part of the Pirates bullpen last year, one of the better pitchers in the National League. And he hasn't changed one bit. Always comes up to you and stands up, shakes your hand. Hello. Hi, Joe. Good morning. Hi. Hey, Isaac. How you doing?
Yeah.
So I think people like that, whether it's in baseball and somebody that, naturally you would look up to, the kids look up to these players, of course, or just you in your daily life when you go around and maybe you're at the grocery store and the person that's slicing your meat for you, you just engage with them and have a conversation, or somebody that's plowing the streets for you. You're going over and, hey, thank you. Hey, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for getting on the 3 in the morning and plowing my street. It's snowed a lot this year. Stuff like that goes a long way, and that's what Mr. Rogers always taught us, and it really does. So I think that's a good message for everybody today.
Yeah, it really is. Yesterday they unveiled the new food menu for PNC Park and all of those wonderful foods. The people that work the concession stands have to be extra patient, and they really have to be the kind of folks that can let water roll off their back like it does off a duck, as my old Sunday school teacher used to say, because sometimes they could take some verbal abuse, and yet they are always there with a smile on their face. I just love the people who work around a ballpark. Sometimes it's the guys that are cleaning off your seats for you. They're retired from whatever their career job was, and there they are. They're just trying to make you feel comfortable. Just stay around baseball.
Yeah, that's it. I've had some, family friends that have done that, and they just get so much out of it. And then it trickles on to the people coming into the games, and then they feel good. And certainly I know that the Pirates try to do that. I think all teams do, but it's certainly, making that experience really good for everybody when they come in. So just a little kindness goes a long way, and then it makes the next person want to be that same way to somebody else.
Yeah. It really does. All right. Well, Donnie Kelly seems like he's an awful nice fella as well, and I want to turn the conversation in the direction that he was talking yesterday about when you make your final roster cuts, and hearkening back to when he was a player, and he said sometimes you make it as that last guy on the roster, sometimes you're sent down, and you have to have that conversation as a manager with a player who didn't make the team and make him understand that, you're just one guy away from having to be called right back up here to Pittsburgh, and it seems like if somebody has to have that job, you'd like it to be a guy with the kind of attitude that Donnie Kelly brings.
Yeah, because he's been through it. He's been on both sides of it many times, And but he's also been successful. He's also been a star of a postseason game, and he's played everywhere, every position. So I think that those guys often become really good managers, and Donnie's that special person that can connect people really effortlessly. It's just in his personality. So it's a good reminder for these players that, of course, it feels like a tryout camp, spring training, but really, the Pirates don't lose all the players that they don't take north with them. They're not all gone. They just go play somewhere else, and like you said, are often called upon. We saw Nick Gonzalez rounding the bases after a home run in Miami on opening day last year. And why can't he run the bases? What happened? Oh, he had fouled that ball off his foot the week before in spring training, and there was a fracture there, and now it finally got him, and he can't continue. And so day 2 of the season, there's a new roster. So that happens more than you believe. It's okay. What can you do for the Pirates at some point this year, whether it is on March 26th or beyond? So I think that's the good reminder that Donnie offers these guys.
The Jared Jones situation last year is another one. Andy Rodriguez is a guy who was sent down yesterday. They got to get him regular at-bats. They got to get him catching again on a regular basis, and he has to learn to have confidence that elbow isn't going to blow up on him again. And so Indianapolis is where he's going to start his season. They still got to make some decisions, though, behind the plate, don't they?
I think for the most part, I think that just about cements it because Andy had such a good spring and looked so healthy that, there's at least a question. You say, well, how's he going to work his way onto this ball club? Because Henry Davis, in my viewpoint, certainly defensively, he was a Gold Glove caliber catcher. The pitchers love throwing to him. He's got to hit more. He hit 167 last year. So, but the way that he was behind the plate, at least at the outset of the season, he deserves the playing time in my viewpoint. And then Joey Bart got the bat going again toward the tail end of last season. He's got to hit to keep his spot. And if he can do that at the outset of the season, there you go. But Andy's waiting in the wings. And like you said, he needs that experience at the plate. Only had less than 100 plate appearances the last 2 years combined. So getting those at-bats, he'll be knocking on the door. He's 25. He's been a 2-time MVP in the minor leagues. He's a switch hitter. He's a good defensive catcher. And we saw in the spring, we were reminded that he can hit. So I think that combination, he'll be knocking on the door sooner rather than later. And certainly, Henry and Bart, they know that they've got to hit and to be able to keep their spots right now with the Pirates. But they got a good problem on their hands. A lot of teams are looking for a second catcher, and the Pirates, have 4 really with Rafael Flores Jr. that they like too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there could be a trade involved in those fellas. Joe, how excited are you for the spring breakout game tonight? Seth Hernandez is going to it's his first appearance on a pitching mound as a pro, and he gets to start the spring breakout game. Yeah,
he on the backfields, Matt Capps saw him the other day and said he looks really good. And I think that's something that's really a nice part about what the Pirates have this year, and it all matters wins and losses at the big league level. That's all that matters, really. But the fact that MLB Pipeline says they have the 3rd highest ranked farm system, they have 5 or 6 guys in the top 100. That just bodes well that not only do you got a good club at the top, but it's going to keep coming. So we'll see a lot of those guys sign. Seth Hernandez, the Pirates' first-round pick from last year, a high school pitcher, one of the few guys that are actually younger than Connor Griffin that will appear in the game. I think that's going to be fun that, you see Griffin in the game. Kevin McGonigal is the number 2 prospect on Pipeline. He's the shortstop for the Tigers in this game. So if you're a fan of that and seeing who's next, well, that's what you're going to see tonight. That's 7:30 on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they are setting up the pitching rotation. Looks like Mitch will be number 2, and of course Paul Skeens will be the starter on Thursday night in New York. And the rotation behind that, we're assuming that Bubba's going to be in there, and Braxton Ashcraft has had a terrific spring so far. So those are numbers 3 and 4, we presume. But still a decision to be made on that 5th starter.
Yeah, and that's that was the question mark going into camp. The Pirates needing desperately to improve their offense, traded pitching. They had to do it. They had to get some hitters in here, and they did that. And so now, okay, well, that opened up a spot. And at least in my viewpoint, there's a couple of guys that looked intriguing, and Mike Clevenger's kind of been up and down, but typically your fifth starter is more of that up and down, performer. Carmen Majinski, I would say, more ups than downs, but again, he's served such a valuable role as a reliever, kind of bridging that gap between, you mentioned Ashcraft and Chandler, two younger pitchers that are not going to pitch 200 innings this year. So, there are going to be nights where you need 2 or 3 innings maybe from the first guy out of the pen after those guys. And so Majinski was so good in that role these last few years. Do you sacrifice that, or do you go with, maybe a veteran like Clevenger? Urquidy's also in that mix. Hunter Barco, a left-hander, could also fill that role too, although not very experienced, of course. Just came up to the big leagues toward the tail end of last year. So we'll see. We'll see how they do it. But whatever it is, it's going to kind of be temporary so long as Jerry Jones stays on track, which right now he's right on track to get back to the Pirates maybe right around the end of May.
Holy cow. Do they have some arms in that system? Man, oh, man. And we've not even talked about the bullpen. This Montgomery, he can throw at about 1,000 miles an hour.
and if he does that in the strike zone, which we've been seeing more and more throughout the spring, then it can be really good from the left side. So the Pirates calculated move on their part, not only bringing in Brandon Lau in his walk year, he's going to be free agent at year's end to improve their offense, but then they get Montgomery and Jake Mangum, who should be a big part of the outfield this year and in the lineup more often than not. So that's that trade that sent Mike Burrows to Houston in that 3-team deal. So, the Pirates get some guys that can really help. And, anytime you're adding pitching, that's going to be a good thing. So we'll see if Montgomery makes the club. But right now it looks like after they have sent down a lefty already in Evan Sisk, you got Joe LaSorsa still around. Hunter Barco, is he a starter? Is he a reliever? Montgomery's got a good chance right now, it looks like, to be a left-hander in the bullpen for the Pirates this year.
Yeah. All right, so the players are kind of antsy to get out of Bradenton and head on into the regular season. Do broadcasters like you get that way too?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're antsy to get out in the 40-degree weather. It's been a little cool for Florida standards, but we'll take 70, for sure. But, I think the game's counting. You want to get a good look and get to know the guys and get a good look at maybe, what these guys are all about and the newness of the season. That wears off. And so now we're kind of at that point where, all right, let's have these things count and start seeing if what we think might happen happens.
There you go. Joe, make the most of this beautiful day.
I love that. Thanks so much, Todd.
Have a great weekend.
Oh, you as well. Talk to you on Monday.
Joe Block of the Pittsburgh Pirates, brought to us this morning by A&A Construction, 824. It's Indiana in the Morning on WCCS.